Thousands of years ago, they were Apollo, Zeus, Ares. Now they are Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the other heroes and villains of DC and Marvel Comics. Join us every week as we discuss the legendary stories, characters, concepts, and other parts of comics as we examine the modern pantheon of heroes. Let's get heroic. Welcome to Under Two Capes, the podcast for the comic book fan. Welcome to Under Two Capes, where we initiate the uninitiated into the world of comic books. I am Jared.
And I'm Lad.
And now we're talking about the most wasted Marvel villains that have ever shown up in the MCU, or MCU adjacent in the case of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Number one, Thanos.
No, actually, he was good. But these could be like, let me put it this way, because we saw Black Widow and Taskmaster really just made this topic seem kind of personal. So I started examining what characters have they used that they've completely and other destroyed or showed up in one movie. That's the problem with the MCU. They tend to take a lot of villains and make them one movie villains, which I get it because you don't have enough. You want to use all these different characters, but still, Ultron. So we're going to get to that point. So we're going to share the screen and then we'll get started. And by the way, if you guys have your own ideas on which Marvel villain was wasted in the MCU, go ahead and drop in the comments. We'll be sure to respond. So we're going to start with Absorbing Man. He showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they didn't really do much with him.
Right. I didn't know about. I kind of missed that.
I didn't know who that was. Red Skull. Yeah, he's actually supposed to be a villain in the main universe. In fact, that's what precedes Secret Empire. Captain America offs him.
Oh.
He keeps being killed. I mean, he was killed in Captain America: The Winter Soldier by the Winter Soldier.
I kind of want, I mean, I know Red Skull. I mean, he was obviously, they used him. He was really good in his, in Captain America 1, and he had a good role. And it seemed like he died. And then we saw him again in Infinity War and Endgame as kind of like, the guardian of the Soul Stone. And I think that's pretty cool, that the fact that they kind of made it make sense for the continuity. And I like that. I like that they did something with him again, at least. He's all creepy, but I kind of do want him back, like some sort of leader of Hydra in the modern day.
He should.
I I guess you can't really bring him back, but you could do something like after all, like after
Steve puts the stone back,
right. or make someone else become the Red Skull also, right? Maybe like his son,
daughter. He has a daughter named Sin.
Maybe you could do something like that, and you can have Captain Falcon take him and fight against him, because I think Red Skull would be great to see again as the leader of Hydra. So if they did some sort of honestly, I'd be okay if they just cloned him, or maybe his daughter became the Red Skull or something. That would work. I
only have one thing to say to that. Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra, yeah.
All right. Baron Zemo. Wait a second. He was redeemed in Falcon Winter Soldier. So quick thing. This list is before Falcon Winter Soldier came out. Yeah. He was great in Falcon Winter Soldier. So, okay. So I'm going to skip this one completely.
Yeah, no, he was redeemed.
Ultron. He should be number one right there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? The actual Age of Ultron storyline from the comics is when he takes over the world, and then the Avengers have to send Wolverine back in time to prevent him from taking over. Not him dropping a volcano thing.
Yeah, he was okay in his movie. It was I definitely wouldn't say it was fantastic. It wasn't, it wasn't the worst thing we've seen. There are other heroes that in their own movie they were used worse.
I thought the voice actor was fantastic for Ultron. It was great.
He did a great job. I mean, we'll talk about other people like Yellow Jacket that we just kind of felt like weren't as strong in their movie.
But is Yellow Jacket really that much of a in fact, Yellow Jacket is Hank Pym in the comics.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's not even like it's just some big character.
Right. I mean, he was cool, but he definitely felt a bit wasted. And we really do need Ultron to come back, in some way. I mean, he's like a robot, so it's really easy to make it that, there was someone tried to recreate the Ultron, machinery, and then it's released on the world again. And I was telling Jared that maybe not even an Avengers movie. We just put it in a what's it called? just an individual hero story, maybe like an Ant-Man movie, or like I don't know even what hero would do great for something like that, but
Against who? I'm sorry.
oh, like Ultron.
Oh yeah, you could do Ultron. You could do a Vision movie.
Yeah, Vision versus Ultron.
Because the way they could bring him back is they could have him be a subroutine in White Vision.
Yeah.
Because remember, Ultron did manage to. He was connected to Vision for like a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just like if all the villains to make a one movie villain, Ultron.
Yeah. I guess because they're so focused on the heroes that you don't have time to build in the villains. But I kind of want to see the villains.
Say what you want about Zack Snyder and the DCEU. At least let me put this way: Doomsday. The story is he's a one movie villain, so you couldn't exactly have him come back. Darkseid's really the main villain of Justice League, and once again, by Justice League I mean the normal. From now on, when I refer to Justice League, it's Zack Snyder's. But yeah, so Darkseid's the main guy. In fact, he even gets a 3-movie arc. At least he gets a trilogy.
Yeah, that's true.
But Ultra one movie.
I mean, I kind of want to see something because they really show his storylines well, like in say Avengers Assemble, and I'm sure Earth's Mightiest Heroes also, where they do these cool storylines where he like starts.
He got the gauntlets.
He gets the gauntlet. He starts replacing people. He's just like turning his like metal into nanites that like actually possess people and actually kind of like.
That's what he does in Age of Ultron. He does that, yeah.
That's really cool. I love to see storylines.
Can you imagine? It's because basically he's Skynet, and can you imagine how cool it'd be in the movie live action where he starts taking over heroes?
Yeah, because I mean in this one he was really more just trying to wipe out the human population. But I feel like there's no reason he can't come back. It's so easy to explain.
It's really easy.
There's only a matter of time until they bring him back.
They could say he's in the internet, because he was in the internet.
Yeah, or like Tony had a backup somewhere, or Hank Pym, tries to recreate.
He even hits the hike on the Iron Man suit. First off, I'm like, why the hell didn't that happen?
Right.
Iron Man, a War Machine suit. Are you telling me it's electronic? I'm pretty sure he can wirelessly download himself to it.
I know.
Or the helicarrier, for that matter.
We definitely. It needs to be a character.
This and Taskmaster are the easiest one that they can repair.
Yeah.
Baltrock the Leaper.
No, Batroc is redeemed in my eyes. Okay.
He was in Falcon Winter Soldier. No, he was in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
he was doing in the beginning with the chase.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in there. I don't know that much about this character to be able to make a determination on that, so I'm actually gonna go down.
I actually know. I know a little bit about him actually, because he was in like Ultimate Spider-Man, and also I kind of read into his comic book history. But he's kind of like usually like a joke character because he doesn't have any superpowers. He just leaps around and stuff like that. And I believe he doesn't actually. I think he has a French accent, but he actually makes it more dramatic to make like all this flair so people are distracted and stuff like that. So he has a very stereotypical French accent, and so he jumps around, and he's actually like a Captain America villain. He's not usually,
which makes sense because in the Winter Soldier,
exactly right, and he's not actually that big of a deal. But I think it's they put him in Winter Soldier, the movie, which was kind of cool to see him face up against Cap.
I know who the hell that was. I thought that was just random mercenary number one.
Right? Yeah, they put him in there, got a little scene. I think that was enough for him, but they actually brought him back in Falcon Winter Soldier and did a little like air scene battle with him. So I think considering all things considered,
and they just blow him up. There's no way he's bringing him back.
Oh, I thought he survived. Didn't they blow it up? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because remember, this is also before Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, it would be interesting, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Baron von Strucker. Yes.
Yeah.
He was actually a member of Steve's inner circle for Secret Empire.
Really?
And in the current Ta-Nehisi Coates Captain America run that I'm reading, Baltrock got his own prison. I mean, not Baltrock. Baron von Strucker got his own prison that he runs because he got an amnesty deal by the government because he helped take down Steve. So yeah, he runs a lot of these prisons where they do experiments on the prisoners, which was in line with the MCU portrayal about how he had. But see, due to his he shows up, he's name dropped in WandaVision. Due to his role in Wanda's life, he was shown in a couple of end credits in an end credit scene, and he was in Age of Ultron. But then he was Ultron just killed him really quickly, and he's supposed to be a big deal for Hydra.
as a Hydra leader, but they got
Well, in his defense, Hydra's kind of dead.
yeah. I mean, Hydra. I mean, they kind of already started downplay Hydra in the MCU and not using it as much. So I guess I kind of understand why they just don't really care about Red Skull and Von Strucker and Hydra and stuff, because they've already done that storyline a lot in the shows and movies, and they're like, yeah, we can just, it doesn't really matter anymore.
That's true. All right, Crossbones. Yes, they completely wasted this guy before they just blew him up.
But he did come back in Civil War briefly in the beginning. I did like that.
Yeah, it's just except he decided to clack off a suicide vest.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way: we didn't see him in the Crossbones suit that much.
Right. I mean, it could have been. I don't think they needed to kill him. He could have just set a bomb off. He didn't need to like die. Also, right?
Yeah, they could have just locked him up.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the big MCU's biggest plan was, I mean, kind of, have the heroes, you build them up. They didn't really, I guess, plan to, like, build up the villains also, because you kind of want to be able to have the hero win, which includes the villain.
But you could just lock them up. You didn't have them die. We already saw in Civil War, you have the freaking Raft.
Right. So I kind of wish that some of these, like, Crossbones, I feel like would have been really easy. Just he didn't need to. It didn't really help anything for him to die.
No, you could have easily just had him to detonate a bomb, and it could have still had the same effect, because it could have been like the Avengers were so focused on fighting him that they didn't stop that bomb from going off.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been fine, honestly.
Madam Hydra. Wait, what? She was here?
I guess she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, there you go. She was identity used by an android called Ada in seasons 4. Oh yeah, because that. If Fitzsimmons made an android.
Oh, right.
So she was okay. That's interesting.
It was inside a virtual reality construct world.
She could be in Captain America 4, because we know they're making a Captain America 4.
That's true.
Where they could start building into that whole Hydra thing.
Yeah,
like they could use, now they have a new Captain America and a new status quo for the character.
Yeah, they could. I mean, because this was inside a virtual reality world in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is already kind of semi-canon at this point. They could easily do another one.
They could easily throw her in there.
Yeah.
For all we know, Val is Madam Hydra.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I mean, it could be.
Malekith.
Ooh. I mean, he felt kind of like a one movie villain.
Yeah.
I guess maybe in the comics he's actually a lot more interesting, but I guess the cosmic people, they're not as important for like the daily Earth stuff.
The Thor people. The only
Right.
Thor villain that was like really big was Loki.
Right.
And technically Thanos, I guess. All right, so we're gonna add a couple more. So that's the end of the list. We're gonna add in a good old friend of ours known as Taskmaster.
Taskmaster was perfect. I wouldn't change anything about him. He was the best.
Okay, so the problem was not necessarily that they used Taskmaster, because they put him in a situation where Taskmaster would have worked.
Yeah.
Except, and once again, our problems with Taskmaster is not the gender swapping. It's the whole BS about shutting her up and making her a mind-controlled slave. That is complete opposite of what Taskmaster is. And then here's the best part. They make her a good guy at the end of the movie. Hello, that's not Taskmaster, which is why I think they're going to use some type of machinations with the multiverse to bring in the real Tony Masters, or just have him there.
Yeah. That's what we discussed also, that because it was kind of like Project Taskmaster. The idea of having like someone copy the abilities. It'd be really great to see there was an actual Tony Masters Taskmaster that running around, that actually is really quick reflexes. He's more like the comic book character. And he can actually, kind of copy abilities through reflexes, and that he kind of was the inspiration for the project the Black Widow room did.
Or it could be, I just got this idea where it turns out it was Tony Masters, but through he was sent on a job that he failed at, so the Red Room took his identity.
Maybe that's true. Yeah.
And said, now you're no longer Taskmaster. These people are.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't get. So the writer of the movie, once again, was like, okay, so we couldn't figure out a way to put him with the Red Room. You obviously don't know the character trains armies all the time.
Yeah. I guess they wanted to be personal.
And like I said, you could have still had the daughter be a widow.
Right. Yeah. I think she could have been like, they could have done like Taskmaster and a masked widow or something like that. Doing it. But
maybe she's the protege of Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe. I mean, the problem with, and also Taskmaster wasn't in the movie that much, which was a problem.
Yeah, well, I was fine with that because
Yeah.
ultimately her villain was the main Red Room
Well,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
I'm fine with it being like that.
Yeah, I like it for the movie, but the serve Taskmaster as a character, I kind of wanted to see
To
more
properly serve it, he would be a good villain for like a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Because he's not a Black Widow villain. That's what people don't realize.
Yeah.
He's a general Marvel villain.
Yeah.
He could be good for Captain America 4, or maybe Val recruits the real Taskmaster and said, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be your leader."
Yeah.
There you go. But my problem is it's okay if he's like not the main guy, but when you X-Men Origins Deadpool him, then we start to have problems here. If you're gonna change the character that much, make up your own character.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Or just any widow, because the idea of a white widow exists. That's what Yelena is supposed to be. But if you don't want to make it Yelena, make it Antonia.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and
she's everything you should be, Natasha. There you go.
Right. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, especially because like it wasn't really the spotlight too much, because it was more of like we said, Black Widow facing against the Red Room, her past, as opposed to Taskmaster,
Dreykov.
Yeah. So it just kind of, it definitely needs. We need to see Taskmaster again somehow.
I get the feeling that they'll fix it, because the very fact that the writer came out to discuss it indicates that Marvel's like, okay, this is a bad idea. We screwed up. I guarantee you at one point, Feige, when he's not dealing with the Black Widow lawsuit, which we talked about on She Capes News, when he's not talking about that lawsuit, he's probably like, how do we fix Taskmaster?
It's like fans file a class action lawsuit saying they ruined Taskmaster.
There was someone that tried to sue Warner Brothers over Suicide Squad and its absence of the Joker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so there's that. Let's talk about another villain that wasn't on this list.
Oh, yeah?
It starts with an M. The Mandarin.
Oh, the Mandarin.
At first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Iron Man 2, actually it was 3, we expected to see like the Mandarin. The Mandarin is like this big like Iron Man villain who's like this big guy of Asian descent, and
crime rings.
Yeah, they sort of hinted at him because the organization that captured him, or that captured Tony, was called the 10 Rings.
Yeah.
So there was that. So the Mandarin was supposed to show up. They made him out to be like this Osama bin Laden like dude.
Yeah.
But then it turns out to be just some actor from the UK named Trevor.
Right.
Which was hilarious, by the way. But I was like, because I played Ultimate Alliance, and I was like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
At first. Because apparently there was like a post-credit scene for Iron Man 3 that revealed that wasn't the real Mandarin. But you think about it, it makes sense that like such a public figure would do that.
Yeah.
Even like Aldrich Killing was like, I'm the real Mandarin. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But then we get the Shang-Chi trailer where it's actually the Mandarin, and I'm like, okay, now we're actually going to get the Mandarin. So I'm going to give him one more chance. Can you imagine if they screwed up again?
No. They said they took they're not doing a direct adaptation of Mandarin from the comics. They're kind of like changing him a little bit.
Well, that's fine, because it's a different world. Ultimately, it's a multiverse. It's a different world from the comics. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, they said in the comics he's a little bit too stereotypical, so they wanted to kind of flesh his character out a little bit more.
I love how they talk about stereotypical Asians in a movie that stars only Asian people, and it's a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? Am I the only one that kind of sees a little problem with this?
I think
maybe that's why China banned the movie.
Did they ban Shang-Chi?
Yeah, they said it's not going to be shown in China.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Man, is Black Widow still banned in China also?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Oh boy. But no, I think it looks really good what they're doing for the Mandarin now, and I love how the 10 rings look like. They said
supposed to be rings on his hand, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I like it too. How it's like arm rings that can shoot energy. I like that. That's cool.
That's kind of cool, because they said they didn't want to do, like you said, they didn't want to do like 10 rings because they look too much like the Infinity Stones.
Yes, that's true. We just had the Infinity. Plus the fact, here's the thing. So when you think of the MCU, think of it as the ultimate universe. It's more grounded, more like realistic. So that's pretty much what the ultimate universe would do if they did the Mandarin.
Yeah. It looks really good, and I think the visual language looks great with the rings and how they like move around and kind of like.
Yeah, I love that.
Like
that is just so cool.
It looks good. I'm impressed by it.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful that we'll see a really cool version of the Mandarin.
Right.
And let me see,
But
but
they don't kill him off at the end of the movie.
I was thinking, is he that big of a villain though that they could make him a one movie villain?
I don't know. I think it is the character's father though. So like if they're gonna do more Shang-Chi movies, they may want to
They
do
may want to
something
at least
where it's like some sort of redemption or just like
he'll be like the main bad guy.
yeah, show up again in some capacity. I feel like I really hope they don't kill him off in the movie.
That's interesting. Yes, definitely an interesting point to make.
Hmm.
So let's see, what other villains did you think were wasted, lad?
Oh boy. So we have
Probably.
I mean, we had to.
Let me see.
Loki was well used.
Loki was very well used. You kidding
Yeah.
me? Loki was the complete opposite of waste.
Loki
Loki is what Ultron should have been.
Yeah, honestly, Ultron is like it's so much.
Let me see who else. Who else do we? Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Because you think about it, they could have done the No More Mutants thing, except a little earlier, and they could have done a WandaVision like scenario where it's like she turns evil. Like it wasn't even Ultron associated with her. I don't know why they associated Ultron with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah,
they could have been a villain like an Iron Man movie, and then they created a world where all the Avengers got what they wanted, and then someone it snaps. It could have been like Vision or Tony Stark like knows that this is fake, and then they go to war.
That's true. You know who I'm really thinking suffers the most right now is
Who?
like the Ant-Man movies in general.
Yeah, they don't really have. Well, here's the thing: Ghost was another character like Taskmaster who was completely changed too.
Right. Like Ant like okay, first movie he was. It almost wasn't that he wasn't really fighting against Yellow Jacket. It was because it was a heist movie. He was more fighting against circumstances trying to get out with the heist, and then there was the battle with Yellow Jacket. So it wasn't really. He wasn't.
Which was still pretty cool, though.
It was still really cool, but he wasn't in it too much. And I feel like, I mean, it's okay with a one movie villain, but he wasn't too memorable for me.
Which is the thing: Yellow Jacket in the Marvel comics is not exactly a villain. It's Hank Pym.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. So I was okay with that. It was a really great movie. The movie was awesome.
Man, it's fantastic. You kidding me?
I just for the second one though, I feel like Ghost kind of was cool, but then there was like a lot of other stuff that was happening with like the government was hunting them down, and they're also trying to do the quantum realm stuff at the same time. That I feel like Ghost was not as prominent as she could have been, and she was a really cool character.
Yeah, I liked her.
Even if she is like an Iron Man villain normally, like
Ghost is an Iron Man villain.
Ghost is an Iron Man villain. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he is. Or because it's a dude in the comics.
Oh yeah,
and
they did the old switcheroo again.
They switched it around. It worked really well.
It worked well. I was fine with that.
As long as if it can work well, it can work well. And
as long as you keep fundamental parts of the character, I'm fine with it. And the same thing goes for Taskmaster.
Yeah, and he also because normally he just has like stealth technology, but then at a certain point in the comics, they actually made him an Inhuman, so he actually got like stealth powers or something like that. So that was cool.
Like Inhuman.
Yeah, Inhuman.
Okay, yeah. Now I got it.
So that's where he gets like the stealth powers from. But I thought they did a good job with her.
They did a pretty decent job for what they had.
But I mean, the thing is now Ant-Man could be getting one of the coolest villains with Kang coming up as
Kang the Conqueror. I'm wondering why of all the Avengers you could have fight Kang, Ant-Man.
I mean, he's gonna be taking on like a big role, I guess.
I mean, I get the Quantum Mania. It's called Quantum Mania, and obviously the quantum realm with time travel is gonna play a part in it.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do more time travel where it's like all of a sudden they're gonna start repairing? The Quantum Mania is how they bring in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Somehow they arrange all these events through time travel because in the Flashpoint you saw the world changes by changing one event.
Right. Oh boy, I guess we're gonna have to see. But I mean, Ant-Man is gonna have like a really big villain soon, so I mean that's cool for him.
Yeah, so let's see which other one. I would say Dormammu, but I don't really know that much about Dormammu.
I mean, the guy that he was fighting, Doctor Strange was fighting against, was kind of like just
kind of boring and forgettable.
Yeah,
you mean the actual dude?
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even care about you.
He was fighting
Galen Urso. That's where he got the idea for the Death Star weakness.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was, but the thing is, even if the villain was not like I guess we were talking first, like villains that need to be used more because they're that cool. now we're kind of talking a bit more about villains that just weren't as memorable, that they weren't as great. But the thing is, even if they weren't as great, the movie always did a really great job of using the character to progress like the hero storyline.
Yeah.
Then none of these movies really felt like they suffered
If you
badly.
didn't know who these characters are, I know if you're not a comic book character person and you go into these movies, fine, okay, that's great. But as people that know the potential of these characters,
right? Yeah, there's some really good storylines.
Now I'm gonna modify our topic a little bit. We're gonna extend it to non-MCU Marvel movies.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna go first. Galactus. The Cloud dude. They didn't even tease that it's a dude in a freaking suit.
Really? They did?
They did not.
Oh,
it's just a Cloud dude. All right, it's an interesting fact to learn about Galactus. And they established this in the Trial of Reed Richards storyline. Okay, so Galactus, the way we see Galactus is a human, right? But Galactus's appearance changes based on which alien race is viewing him. Like a Skrull sees him as a Skrull in a suit.
Okay, so it just like depends on like your perspective. That's why we see him as kind of like a human.
A human because it's through our eyes. All right, ignoring Galactus for just 1 second. Dr. freaking Doom and Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick was just bad completely. I don't think we even need to like, talk about. Like,
there's no redeeming qualities of that movie.
It wasn't even the villain that was bad.
It was the villain, but that was besides the point.
I mean, that wasn't the only thing that was bad. Like everything else was also bad. Also. My gosh! The only good thing was
who the hell was writing that movie?
But Michael B. Jordan came out of the flames and was reborn as Killmonger.
That's what happens with the Thanos snap.
Yeah.
Let me see. Did I like Michael B. Jordan's Human Torch? Yeah, kind of. I did actually like him as the Human Torch, but that's besides. I hated the other actors.
Chris Evans.
Okay, Chris Evans was actually spot on. I'm fine with Chris Evans.
Oh boy, just like they see each other again. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's like Michael B. Jordan, Chris Evans, and Captain America in a room. It's like they're doing the Spider-Man pointing. But okay. I thought that the original Fantastic Four movies actually did Dr. Doom pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they didn't play off the whole he's a head of a nation, but besides that, I liked the majority of what they did. They played off of his rivalry with Reed.
Yeah, no, I think you're right that they did a really good job with that, and I definitely felt that like they're kind of rivals, but then they had to work together in the second one. I kind of
and then he got God powers with the board.
Right.
That was so cool.
It did look really cool. I thought that was cool. Unfortunately, they didn't make him the nation leader, but
I was fine on them like leaving it like that for right now. If they got more movies, I get the feeling they would have done that.
We need that. I feel like it would definitely work if they introduced him as like a like phase 5 villain or something like that.
Oh, he has to be. Yeah, I think of all the villains of all the Marvel villains that could possibly be the phase guy. In other words, the next Thanos. It's among these three. Tell me if you agree. Okay, it would be Ultron if they actually did a good Ultron story. Doctor Doom or Galactus.
Yeah, those ones would be really good.
Because if they do Galactus, here's the thing. They could bring in a Silver Surfer movie where he starts showing up and maybe they played off like he's an Avenger at first. And then it turns out he's actually working for Galactus the entire time. He's their herald.
That could be really cool.
And then he sacrifices himself to stop Galactus like he did in the movie.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer was another character I think the movie did pretty well.
Silver Surfer was insane. I never even saw the movie as a kid, but I just saw the commercials and I was like, wow, that guy is like really cool. I love
Do you know the origin of the Silver Surfer? Not the comics one, the actual real life origin.
No.
So what happens is that they were Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were working on Fantastic Four: The Coming of Galactus. So Marvel had this way of doing storylines because Stan Lee was writing all the books. We didn't have time to like go into these in-depth descriptions of what he wanted in each panel. So he would let Jack Kirby just draw whatever he wanted as long as it followed that structure, pretty much. It's called the Marvel Method, and they have a documentary on this on Disney Plus. So what they did is, Stan is looking at the art. All of a sudden, he sees a dude on a surfboard going by, and then he asks Jack, "Well, what the hell is with this guy on the surfboard?" And then Jack Kirby goes, "Well, I figured someone as powerful as Galactus, he should have like a herald, and I put him on a surfboard because surfing's big nowadays." That's literally how the Silver Surfer came about.
Oh, that's so funny.
He could actually be good in his own movie, though. The Silver surfer.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like that.
They could make it like a sort of morally ambiguous movie where they show him being the herald of Galactus and having to choose which planets he consumes.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
And then they can have Thor return to glory when he becomes the herald of Galactus, like he did in the comics.
Yeah,
I think Doctor Strange even became the herald at one point.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Because I know there was like a comic book series called Herald Supreme or something like that, or
Yeah, I think you're right.
something like that. Let me see. So Doctor Doom is actually Doctor Doom. I think would be the best one, particularly if they follow my plan of doing a Secret Wars movie,
Yeah.
which rumor has it they're thinking of doing that with the Russo brothers as the directors.
I mean, they could. That could
First
be really
off,
cool.
Russo brothers, yes, please.
Yeah.
Second off, Secret Invasion. I mean, Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars. Yeah, that could be really good. I mean,
I think that of all the movies to make like Endgame level, Secret Wars, they could do the multiverse and have like the original Avengers come back for like a cameo.
Yeah. You could really do some really good stuff with that, honestly.
I'm telling you, dude. Plus, they're dealing with the multiverse so heavily this go around. So I'm like, why not do Secret Wars as your next event and then have that'll be the Doctor Doom thing? Because basically what the Infinity Wars things was all the gauntlet stuff. You could do all the multiverse stuff with Doctor Doom. Because in Secret Wars, he becomes the head of Battle World, God King Doom.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
And let me see, another villain that I know could work if they did him right, which I think that the X-Men movies did really well, was Magneto.
Yeah.
Actually, the X-Men movies wasted Apocalypse, though, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because he's actually a big Marvel villain, but they really just, again, another character. See, here's my problem with Marvel. And if DC would develop more that well, see, here's the thing with the DC movies, they didn't really they only like killed off one movie really worthy villains like Ares. Come on.
Right. And I feel like Ares can reconstitute if you want.
He can. He's a Greek god. I guarantee you he's not dead.
Yeah.
Because war still exists if we're going by that movie's logic. But it's like Ares. Okay, Maxwell Lord was actually not that way. They heavily changed the character of Maxwell Lord. He's supposed to be wholly bad.
Right.
Cheetah, I was like, okay with it. Plus, they left it open where she can come back.
Yeah.
Zod, I was like, Zod's the only one where you can make the argument that he was like shouldn't have been killed because he's the main Superman bad guy. That's like making Brainiac one movie.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Darkseid, if they do the other two movies, he's getting a trilogy. So it's because ultimately Steppenwolf was not the main bad guy.
Right, yes.
In the Snyderverse.
Yeah, no.
Not Craptus League.
But he could still come back because in
New Gods, Darkseid revives them all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There have been plenty of times where like the Furies have been killed and Darkseid brings them back. Darkseid's a god.
Yeah.
A god, air quotes.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor, well, he's a human, but that's besides the point. But my point is that so far the DCEU doesn't really throw away villains.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we've had that just quite yet, you know?
But in fact, like even before we did the podcast, Lyle and I were having this discussion about how Marvel, the MCU tends to really throw away villains.
Yeah, it definitely, I think that was something we talked about a lot. Before Thanos came, before we got Infinity War and Endgame, it was definitely a lot of discussion that, Marvel throws away their villains or they're not as memorable except for Loki. And then, Thanos really changed the discussion.
Thanos was fantastic.
Thanos changed the discussion where, we saw something really great. And I think hopefully Marvel saw how successful that was. And they kind of they want to do that sort of have that level of respect for the character in the future movies. Like we're seeing with, the Mandarin. Looks like he's going to be really, memorable, well used, hopefully not killed off. And we're seeing other
villains.
Marvel,
so
and we're seeing other villains come back. We saw, we're seeing Zemo come back. We saw,
who's fantastic.
Weaver. We're seeing a few people show up again.
Well, I think Baltruck was killed when his helicopter was shot down. Because remember, what happened is they kidnapped that army intelligence guy. Sam goes to the helicopter, saves him as the missile hits it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So we'd have to see. But in general, I hopefully that you're gonna approach villains in a different way now, seeing how Thanos works. Seeing how Thanos
could be. We'll see what they do with Kang. Kang's gonna be my test for them because if they kill him at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they better not, because he could still be in other things.
It's just that's my problem with Marvel is that they keep treating these epic villains like Ultron as if they're just lower level characters.
Right.
Because if you're a Marvel, I guarantee you Marvel fans were pissed off about the way Ultron was treated.
Yeah,
when he doesn't have to be this way.
I thought I hope to see him again, at some point.
Yeah, and like you said, there was a fan theory during WandaVision that he was gonna be a subroutine in White Vision anyway. So it's because remember they rebuilt Vision, so so it stands to reason that they could use some parts from Ultron drones.
Right. Yeah, I'd love to see him come in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we've talked about the actually wait. Are there any Spider-Man villains that you think were wasted? Now, okay, so let's go through a movie by movie because there are a few that I have. Yeah. Norman Osborn was fine because they did it the way they did in the comics. Yeah. I was fine with that. Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock. Do you think they wasted Doc Ock?
Doc Ock was so cool, and he got a really good. I never actually watched the whole movie because I was a little too young for it, but I just loved how he looked, what he did, and then his like kind of sacrifice and redemption at the end there. I think that even though
plus we're getting another movie with him,
right? So. Even though he didn't come back further, that it was good. It was good for what that was, and I was very satisfied with his ending.
Yeah, me too. I definitely liked it. Mm-hmm. Now, I like Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Sandman, I think, was pretty cool. How they tried to make him even a good guy trying to help his kid. Yeah. Venom, they completely destroyed. They eviscerated Venom.
It looked cool though. In trailers.
Trailers will look cool. In execution, the movie, it looked like crap.
Yeah, it was not.
First off, Topher Grace is not believable as Eddie Brock. Second off, the Venom design was like, eh.
It was kind of weird.
Particularly to the point where when I saw the Venom trailer with the movie Venom and they actually showed Venom, I was like, yeah, that's Venom.
Right, because I guess they didn't really want to make the creepy side of Venom like that. Like they show him a little like scary and like the weird like mouth and stuff from Spider-Man 3. But then when they came to do Venom's movie, they actually made him like the full like creepiness, like monstrosity Venom. Then they didn't really, I guess they didn't want to go.
They could have still done it, I think.
They could have done that, yeah.
They could have still stuck to that.
Yeah, it was really hype just that Venom was going to be in the movie. But yeah, I definitely, yeah, it's a bit tough there, but.
All right, so New Goblin. Yeah. Now, Harry Osborn does become a goblin in the comics, correct? But he doesn't label himself like New Goblin or anything.
No, not really. Maybe sometime some of the stuff he becomes Hobgoblin. Mm-hmm. Sometimes someone else.
He does become a goblin, though.
Yeah, usually becomes a goblin at some point, or sometimes he is Green Gobby, like in the Amazing Spider-Man series. We have Harry be Green Gobby, which I felt was kind of weird. I mean, at least I guess we're now going to transition into that. Spider-Man 1, Lizard.
We'll still talk about that, yeah.
Lizard was really cool.
Oh, okay, we'll start talking about those movies. I like the Lizard and Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, Lizard.
Plus, they did it establish in the Ultimate Universe that Kirk Connors was a one-and-done villain. That Spider-Man cured him of being the Lizard. So I was okay with that.
Yeah, and thing is, they put Lizard in jail at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. So they left it open.
They left it open. He had a little bit of redemption too, right? So, and then we also had Amazing Spider-Man 2, which Rhino was okay.
I did not like the Green Goblin in that movie.
The Green Goblin was not that great. He was kind of thrown in at the last second.
What?
I like Harry. Harry was cool in the movie.
Yeah, the actual portrayal of Harry Osborn. Yeah. I felt that dude did a fantastic job on that.
He kind of felt like he didn't want to be a villain. His name,
but yeah, I like that.
He was trying to, save himself and trying
from
to
having disease. So. But yeah, 100%. I like that portrayal of Harry Osborn. I just didn't like the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin thing was stupid.
It was kind of last minute because Electro was the main villain, and they kind of shoved in Goblin.
Electro, I thought was kind of wasted. But I'm like, here's the redeeming quality of that Green Goblin. If they did the Clone Saga, it would be less creepy if that version of Green Goblin impregnated Gwen Stacy.
I think it would be weird either way.
No, I mean because I'm saying because this is a young guy. It's like a best friend.
No, the Clone Saga needs
obviously wait. Obviously before he turns into the Green Goblin, but you know what I'm saying, right? What would be more creepy, that or the original Clone Saga?
Both.
Both are creepy. Okay, but the other one I feel like it's more creepy because it's an old dude.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
With a 19-year-old girl, or like to 20 or so, however how old Gwen Stacy is in that movie.
It's definitely weird.
It's still creepy. I'm just saying.
It's still creepy.
Of the two, if I had to pick one, I would prefer the Amazing Spider-Man way.
I wonder, there were so many rumors of that they were gonna do like Sinister Six. So that's probably why they didn't kill off Lizard and stuff like that. Like the what's it called? Lizard was gonna be there. They also had Goblin.
They teased that with that wall of stuff there.
Yeah, we were supposed to get Amazing Spider-Man 3, and it was gonna be like Venom movie, Kraven the Hunter, Sinister Six, Silver Sable.
Well, we're getting all those movies.
Well, yeah, because the original plan was to make it in the Amazing Spider-Verse, and then those were gonna be like spin-off films. There's gonna be like a whole like MCU for Spider-Man characters.
Which the Fox could still do that,
right? Well, Sony.
I mean, Sony. I keep getting confused because so many people. It's like Universal owns Hulk, owned Hulk and Namor for some reason.
And that was the plan, but then Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't do as well. Things fell through, and they decided just to reboot the character and work with Disney to do Tom Holland Spider-Man.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, and they decided like, okay, we're gonna take our plan for Amazing Spider-Verse and just kind of do our own villain universe, which is Venom, Kraven the Hunter, Let There Be Carnage, Morbius. That's gonna be like their own, kind of like their original plans are been adapted, and we're going to do that here.
Luckily, and we know Spider-Man exists in their universe too, because in the Morbius trailer, they show the Spider-Man poster with murderer painted on it. So we know there is a Spider-Man. So they could conceivably what they could just do is make Miles the one for the Fox universe, for the Sony verse.
Yeah,
and then just use Peter Parker for this one.
That'd be kind of cool if they did something like that. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out, or if they decide to wrap Tom Holland in somehow into that, keep an eye on those. But I mean, that'll be cool. I mean, either way,
we'll see what they do with the Spider-Verse. It's still not confirmed it's going to be a Spider multiverse thing, but still, we're like, okay, that's cool. Let's see, what other villains do we think? What Spider-Man villains do you want to see?
Oh,
and see done well?
Yeah, I mean,
that way it's on topic with our thing.
We got like a lot of cool villains, like obviously Vulture. Vulture was so good.
Vulture was fantastic.
It's funny because when I first mentioned Vulture, I kind of thought like it's like he just glides around. He's not that cool, is he? And then Keaton just did such an amazing job with him. It was so awesome.
They Batman Vulture.
Yeah, like it was so cool. It felt like a real Spider-Man level villain, and they even kept him around. He survived at the end of it,
and he's in Morbius.
Yeah,
so here's a Spider-Man villain they screwed up. Shocker,
yeah.
He's just a side character.
I mean, Shocker's more of like a street level.
Scorpion, so. Matt Gargan.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, oh wait, when I was watching that movie recently, and they said Matt Gargan, I was like, oh wait a second.
Listen, I mean, the one thing I'll give the I really enjoy the classic Spider-Man movies, but Tom Holland does a really great job, and his villains, like the main villains, Vulture, amazing. Mysterio was like out of this world.
Yes, but
insane.
I'm like, if you really thought Mysterio was going to be a good, all the Spider-Man fans are like, wait a second.
Yeah,
there's no way that would change that.
But like when they did like his fights, even though like the whole thing was special effects,
I liked where it was special effects. It wasn't even him there. That was cool.
Remember when he like there was like the whole kind of like almost animated world when he was like in the illusion world.
Yeah, where
Tony.
It's like where they basically tease Marvel Zombies without teasing it. Yeah, I love that.
That was a whole great fight scene, and the whole like bridge, like
they really played on Mysterio's abilities expertly.
Yeah,
they freaking nailed it.
And I loved how like the whole time, like when he was actually there, he was actually just like in like a had
motion
capture suit.
Yeah,
and it looked really cool because he looked like he was doing all these special effects. I loved it. They didn't go the magic round. They just did like, let's just do like all these special effects and
because that is the background for Mysterio in the comics. He was a special effects guy, right?
Right. Normally special effects. Sometimes they give him powers. Sometimes he has powers he got somehow and he uses that. But usually it's special effects. So that two fantastically used villains, and it definitely seems like he's dead. But someone posted that video, unless it was like his henchmen. But us posting about Peter
it could be he just hacked into a robot.
It could, it could be that.
I was gonna say they could easily repair. Speaking of that, the whole Spider-Man identity by just having a Skrull stand next to Peter Parker, become Peter Parker and stand next to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
problem solved.
Yeah. It's like they just
Talos is there.
Yeah, Talos is just like after Nick Fury and Talos after seeing like Spider-Man get framed.
He's like, okay, I'm just gonna. He just gets off.
Yeah, just like you're on your own, Spider-Man.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Here's the villain I thought they wasted: the Flag Smashers.
Oh,
because guess what? It's a dude. It's not an organization.
But it was just the name. It was just the name of it.
And I don't like Harley.
You know, like,
I don't. She's annoying.
She's a bit annoying, but I did think like they're like. they
They
tried to
gave him
make
an
it like
interesting motivation.
well, they
though.
try to make them seem like they have a reason to do what they're doing.
Yeah, but I just felt they're like, really?
Yeah, like we got the flag over there, you know, no
The Superman thing right there.
Superman over there, yeah.
No, but yeah, I agree with you. I just didn't like I didn't like them in Falcon Winter Soldier, I don't think. I liked Agatha Harkness.
I haven't seen it fully.
Lad's
yet.
always behind.
Yeah.
So I think I made a spoiler for you.
I knew about her. I knew about her already.
Yeah, all right. But anyway, it was like
I don't know.
there were a few times the villains were like him, but once again, the Falcon Winter Soldier completely redeemed Zemo.
Zemo was like rolling around in luxury, yeah.
His dancing, but and
like,
and then I love when they released the Zemo cut, which is just 2 hours of him dancing.
Yeah. No, Zemo, like I feel like it should have been Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Zemo.
That's what it turned into.
Yeah, it was like the trio, the Trinity.
That's the Trinity of that's the Captain America trilogy. Like, they even gave him the mask in one of the episodes. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Thing is, actually, I didn't know about this, but Baron Zemo is on the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts. He's the one who formed the Thunderbolts.
Right.
In fact,
he's normally like the others become good, and he's like actually a bad guy still,
or he tries to be good, or
right.
and just turns out being a villain.
So he actually in the comics, he actually does eventually become good in like a Citizen V or just like as Baron Zemo, and so he actually becomes a hero at a certain point in the comics.
So we could end up doing that if they're doing a Thunderbolts movie. I guarantee you, Val is going to be visiting him at some point.
I'd love to see him because I'd love to see him just like
I would love more Zemo because
if he stops killing people, also
well, it's the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
it's the Thunderbolts are basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. So. Which is like a superhero team that has like no morals, which is why they have like Yelena Belova, John Walker,
right?
I'm like, yeah, of course they could kill people. The Avengers kill people, let's face it.
No, they don't.
Thor throwing his hammer at someone that apparently has like the mass of a white dwarf star or something like that. Yeah, that's gonna go right through you.
Oh boy.
In fact, Corridor Digital did a YouTube video. You should check it out. That's basically what the Marvel movies were R-rated, where they realistically took it like Captain America throws a shield at someone and it chops them in half.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's really good. I'll show you it sometime.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's see what other villains do we think that could be really cool to throw in there if they're not wasted.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
MODOK?
Huh?
MODOK? Could MODOK be done in live action, or would it look too weird?
It would look too weird. That there are certain villains that you just can't do. Actually, let's take a short break from main Marvel and talk about the X-Men, though.
Okay.
Magneto. First off, both times they've done a fantastic Magneto, I think.
Yeah, Magneto's like
both times.
Yeah, I mean, and they reuse the character and like keep making him even better every time.
What's kind of interesting about the X-Men movies, particularly the ones with like Fassbender, they keep basically playing the same plot where he starts off good, becomes a bad guy, becomes a good guy, but they do it in such a way where it doesn't feel redundant at all.
Right. Yeah.
Which is interesting because he keeps turning good, bad, but ultimately he still turns good. So that's actually real. So I felt that was pretty interesting. But he's the villain. I think the X-Men did pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's like Apocalypse. I like what they do with Stryker because, so X2 is based on a book called God Loves, Man Kills, which is originally a story that wasn't in continuity. It was just like an original graphic novel that they brought in there, written by Chris Claremont. By sidebar, any good story written of the X-Men is written by Chris Claremont. And now Jonathan Hickman, I think he's fantastic. We'll talk about Hawks and Pox later. But anyway, so have you seen X2?
The second one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually.
All right, so that was basically the idea that Stryker, who was the guy in X-Men Origins, the general guy, in the comics, he's not a military guy. He's actually one of those televangelist people that sees like the X-Men as like the spawn of the devil or something like that,
cool.
And he wants to like take him out. So it's basically the plot of X2. Cool. He kidnaps Xavier, wants him to concentrate hard on the mutants and take him out. That's basically that idea. So I liked what they did there by linking him to Wolverine because he was never really associated with Wolverine. In no way was he engaged with Weapon X, but I like how they modified it a little bit so he would be engaged with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And let's see, who else do I like? Who else do I think that they could do well in an X-Men movie? How about Nimrod, the Super Sentinel?
Nimrod?
I'll get a picture of Nimrod for you. He's in Hawks and Pox.
Oxen Pox?
House of X Powers of 10.
Oh yeah.
That's the abbreviation for it. Let me see. But I love Sabretooth. I think that in X-Men Origins, that was one of the redeeming qualities of that movie is the way that they played off Sabretooth and Wolverine's relationship. So, Lad, which X-Men character villains do you think they did pretty well? By the way, here is Nimrod. He's that big guy right there.
Oh, interesting looking.
That's Nimrod, the purple dude right here.
Interesting. In X-Men, I mean,
Of the X-Men movies you've seen,
I definitely liked. Apocalypse was cool. I definitely feel like they could have used more of him.
Yeah,
like,
they
later
used
on.
too little of that.
Right. I thought he was. I love the concept of it though. Like,
Oh yes,
I
100%.
love like the transferring and collecting more power. That was.
That's
really
a
cool.
good way to explain why he's immortal.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I definitely wish they'd done more with him, but that was cool.
Here's a good villain, Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, that was cool.
They nailed the Hellfire Club, and also they nailed the way Emma Frost was before she became an X-Men.
Yeah,
because I think it was. Let me see. That was around the time that Emma Frost became a good guy because it was in Grant Morrison's X-Men run, and by the way, the costumes they wore in First Class were loosely based off the Grant Morrison costumes.
all right.
And they actually used them pretty extensively in Dark Phoenix. That was like the costumes they had in the very beginning of the movie. I don't know if you've seen Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I remember seeing the promotional for the.
Yeah, but you remember the costume of the black jumpsuit in the X.
Right. Yeah.
That's Grant Morrison. But so let's see. So I'm trying to think about what other X-Men villains. Barry, if you have an idea which X-Men villains you want to see to show up in there, actually, let's transition for a second. What DC villains do you think were wasted? I mean, with Doomsday, he was kind of supposed to die.
Right.
That's the point of that storyline.
I mean, Zod made sense.
Zod, yeah, kind of, because he is actually a very significant. But I get why he did it, because you had to figure out some way to make Superman have the no killing rule, and he killed the last of his race.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand why he did it, but yeah, I get it that I would have liked to see more of General Zod. Well, multiverse, we still could. See, they haven't killed Darkseid yet, which they shouldn't because there's no reason to.
Yeah.
And they can't. They literally can't. Sure, let me see what else. Oh, actually, one more thing I want to mention: the Punisher in Daredevil season 2. They did fantastically portraying that to the point where he got his spin-off show on Netflix.
That's true. That really shows how well he was handled.
Because he was the antagonist in Daredevil season 2.
Oh yeah.
It's like it starts off. The season starts off with these bunch of mob guys playing poker, and all of a sudden just mowed down by machine guns with just a Punisher skull left.
Guns, right? Tranquilizer.
Fine, sure.
Yeah. There you go.
But see, there you go. I mean, it was like they nailed the Punisher.
Yeah.
I didn't see Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. Iron Fist, I don't remember, but that's because the show wasn't really that good. I mean, I kind of enjoyed Iron Fist, but I was like,
it was too dark for me.
Iron Fist was not dark. It was just not that good.
Oh.
And that Defenders was in no way interesting.
Oh man.
I mean, I liked Elektra in that series, but besides that, that's besides the point. Elektra was a pretty good bad guy in that series. Like, oh, I got a forgotten Marvel movie we haven't talked about. Daredevil. Have you seen that movie?
Ben Affleck Daredevil?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it, but
I liked Bullseye in that movie. That was one of the redeeming qualities is Bullseye. Besides the fact that they had really crappy CGI fight scenes.
Oh man.
I'm like, what? Put a guy in a harness and have him flip off a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But Bullseye was pretty good to the point where there's a scene where he's flying into New York. He just got hired. So this old lady is snoring on a plane. So he takes a peanut and just flicks it at her, and it goes down her throat and kills her.
Oh, snap.
He just goes,
whoa.
He just takes her out. It's fantastic. It's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Let's see. What other Marvel movies have we have their I got a good DC one. Parallax in Green Lantern.
Parallax. Yeah.
I mean, well, did they have the whole thing about Parallax being a Green Lantern entity? But I think they did, yeah. Which I feel like they could have done. Well, that's just they were going to do more with that because Green Lantern was supposed to launch the DCEU.
Yeah.
So I guess. Oh, I got an Iron Man guy. I got an MCU villain that actually might have been wasted. That was on this list. Ironmonger and Iron Man 1.
Oh, yeah.
Obadiah Stane.
Yeah, we kind of forgot about that one.
I mean, I've never heard of him outside of Iron Man 1, though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And Marvel has not really done a lot with him in the comics, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, he may have just been like a, good enough for like a one and done villain, right?
Yeah, I think he's one of those one done. Whiplash and Hammer were ones and dones. I don't think that they were worthy of other movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think of Grant Ward?
Grant Ward, from Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought he was.
I thought it was
cool.
pretty good, and they gave him plenty of room to be a villain. So I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, he was cool.
What did you think? Okay, so you didn't see the Ghost Rider movies, right?
No,
well, the bad guy is Satan.
Yeah, he's just flaming head guy.
No, that's Ghost Rider.
Oh no, the bad guy.
The bad guy is actually Satan.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I was like, okay, I mean, the villain was scary, but they did do well with Ghost Rider just kills him.
Yeah.
So Ghost Rider killed the devil, I guess. So I'm like, all right, there you go. That's dope. Let's see. What other villains do I really think were like not that well portrayed? Well, okay, so let's think about it this way. Let's talk about the Joker. And we're transitioning. This is gonna be more of a normal of an overall movie villains. But in terms of Joker, I felt like the best portrayal we've had, because I'm not going to count Jared Leto's because we haven't actually gotten the full portrayal of that, because he's supposed to play more of a bigger role in the Ayer cut. But I felt Heath was pretty good. Did you see Dark Knight?
Dark Knight Returns? Oh, no, just Dark Knight.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't seen it. I just know all of his performance.
Yeah, he had a shrine to the Joker in his apartment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What do you think of Cesar Romero as the Joker? As someone that has seen the Adam West Batman.
I mean, the thing is, you want to talk about the Adam West series, they use their villains fantastically to so much great effect, crossing them over, team ups and stuff like that.
I'll give you that. They did
a really good job of,
the Penguin was fantastic in that.
Burgess Meredith was so great. Like the little one, I'm like, I'll say for like a live action TV show that was like, had 120 episodes, they really did use their villains, like a lot of the big name villains too.
Yeah,
like
Joker and all.
They did cool stuff with them,
Did you see Batman 89?
Batman 89, I don't think I have.
Is he any of the old Batman?
No, I haven't actually gone back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You see what I have to deal with? He's hosting a comic book podcast, but he hasn't seen Batman 89.
I haven't seen the classic.
That's the one where Batman shoots the Joker.
Yeah.
With machine guns on his car.
Oh, boy.
The Penguin one, which is Batman 2, is when he bites the nose off of someone.
Really?
Yeah, the Penguin actually has Penguin-like features.
Oh, man.
For some reason that happened. I'm like, what the hell?
Okay.
That's not Cobblepot.
Yeah.
Because it was I think it was done by like I don't think that was done by who was the one that did 89 again? I don't know why I'm forgetting
George
this.
Clooney?
No. Who directed Batman 89?
Oh no. Oh, I'm not sure actually.
I'll look it up. But anyway, besides that, but yeah, because I think that they did transition to a different director then, so maybe that's why.
Maybe, yeah.
Batman 2. I'm just looking this up real quick.
Yeah.
Batman 2. It's called Batman Returns. Okay. It's a 1992 sequel to the 1989 film. Hang on, I'm trying to find the actual. Okay, Tim Burton. Actually, yeah, I can get that because Tim Burton's known for having really like crazy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did. Let me put it this way: the wasted villains of the Batman series was in Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy, and Bane.
Yeah.
Bane was just a stupid luchador.
Oh no.
At least in Dark Knight Returns, I was born in the darkness.
Oh man.
Shaped by it. They actually had Bane. That was Bane.
I like the luchador though. I actually don't know.
He was basically the Hulk.
I didn't see what he looked like in the movie actually, but just the luchador look is cool.
All right, hang on. Batman and Robin, Joker. All right. What other villains do you think were wasted, lad? While I look this up.
I mean, that's a good question. Honestly, like we kind of went through a lot of them. I mean, let's see. Here's Bane. Oh yeah, he does look kind of stupid. I guess.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Isn't that dumb? And this is Poison Ivy, which again, not that good. And then I get the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman love, but it's also like she got her powers from being licked by cats.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know about that. Mr.
That's-
Freeze looked cool.
Mr. Freeze, barring the stupid freeze puns, was not that bad. All right, everyone, chill. Let's break the ice.
Yeah. Oh boy. You're talking about the best part about it.
Yeah. Now, okay, so let me see what character. Now let's go to animated.
Animated.
So Lad and I just watched the Dark Phoenix arc for X-Men the Animated Series. What'd you think of the Phoenix? Was she wasted like she was in the movies?
I mean, no, I thought she was a pretty scary threat, honestly. Like, looked like to destroy the entire universe, honestly.
Yeah, I felt. Yeah, it was. They even did a joke about it in the Honest trailer for the X-Men Animated Series, where they went, okay, so the only accurate portrayal of Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, because here's the thing: in X-Men 3, they made it so the Phoenix was just a personality, an alternate personality of Jean Grey.
I see.
They took away all the cool stuff about it.
Yeah.
And then in Dark Phoenix, I will give Dark Phoenix this. First off, I didn't hate that movie. I thought it was actually pretty decent. They kept the whole cosmic being that inhabits Jean Grey's body.
That's true, yeah.
In no way did they change that. They didn't have the Shi'ar in it, but it was a different alien race that showed up and started screwing around with Jean Grey, but that's the point.
Yeah.
But I definitely enjoyed the animated series more. I don't know what you think, lad.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, they did a lot better with the animated series.
First off, how great is that X-Men animated series anyway? Yeah.
That was really fun. And like the story arc that they had there was really cool.
Yeah. So, stay tuned for our X-Men show. We are going to do an episode on the X-Men animated series. That might be the next one.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good place to leave it, unless you have any other characters you want to bring up.
No, I think that's a good place. Yeah.
And once again, if you guys have any any wasted comic book villains in general, it doesn't have to be Marvel. It doesn't have to be Marvel. It can be like Marvel, DC, any superhero like villain that you feel was wasted and had so much more potential. Drop in the comments on YouTube at Comics League Network, and don't forget to drop to give us a 5-star review and a review on Apple Podcasts. That's how we increase the visibility of the show, and then we can continue giving you guys such great programming as this show. And hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we will see you probably next week for Under Two Caves. Remember, we initiate the uninitiated. Stay heroic.